It sounds like a phone.
What phone?
No phone? No one's phone.
Okay.
No one's phone.
Nothing.
Guys are a bunch of phonies.
Okay, getting some phone
Oh,
interference
wow.
Hey, I've been having a lot of drugs, so let's calm down, people.
I mean,
All right.
us too, but
Yeah.
here. Do you want me to keep that in the intro or cut that?
Oh, is that it? Lots of drugs. Let's calm down, everyone.
Okay, well, welcome back to Rapid Troop Sucks. Unfortunately, Nemo's going to be joining us a little sickly today, as the drug talk has been noted already. Hi, welcome back. We're Rapid Troop Sucks. Next to me is Mike, as always. Hey, Mike.
oh, hello.
Lamar is next to me as well.
Hello, guys.
And Nemo, as already noted, is phoning it in a little sick.
Yes, hi, everybody.
So how are you feeling? How are those drugs treating you?
Not as well as they should be.
Yeah.
I think I'm just numb to it all. It all just feels like I don't feel anything. I have no feelings.
I like
There we
when,
go.
I like when people tell me they buy over-the-counter things. And I once told my pharmacist, I said, why don't you just throw that in the trash? And he goes, yeah. Like, he totally agreed. That the Sudafed that you could get over the counter when I was super fluish was as good as the garbage that it belonged to. And just like that, we are Rabbit Troop Sucks. We are a podcast that focuses on obscure, forgotten about, and overlooked films and over-the-counter drugs at your local pharmacy, which I guess we have not been brought to you by Safeway or King Soopers or Target or CVS.
No.
Walgreens, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't CVS going out of business? Or is that Walgreens? Somebody's going out of business.
They're all going out of business.
Yeah.
Where are we going to get our drugs from?
Amazon.
There we go.
Yeah, we go. That's where it is.
If you're unfamiliar listeners, visit Colfax, a city of opportunities where you could get many drugs. All the drugs? Some drugs.
Occasional.
Get all the drugs and more, Paul, if you go there.
Colfax, you'll get the disease and the drugs to treat it all in one place.
How do you hashtag that?
Colfax drugs.
I like the occasional drugs too. Sometimes you get what you need. I did say before, I think Lamar has definitely heard this, that once on Colfax, someone offered me a straight up crack rock and gave me a guarantee that if it wasn't the best crack rock I've ever had, he would in fact be there tomorrow to refund my money. I mean, so you don't get guarantees like that too often. So I don't know. There might be a lot to be said about this.
This is
That's
guaranteed in
just good
writing.
customer service.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nice. I think we've lost that nowadays. We seem to outsource a lot of that. And that guy was like, "Hey, man, I'll hit up the street and I will be here."
Yeah. That man offered you a guarantee, and he stands by it.
Where do you think he is now, Mike?
How was the crack? Was it okay?
Oh, it was fantastic.
So you didn't need to go back.
No.
Okay.
Our friend Mitch was there with me, Lamar.
Wow.
So we have a witness.
Did
So.
Mitch get in on that deal?
We both were very surprised about the warranty that was offered to us. That was the most memorable thing. So he did not. We bid adieu to the fellow.
Wow.
we went our separate ways.
Well, it's nice to know that there's good service out there these days.
Again, super rare. Come to Colorado, visit. Well, yeah. So, much like servicing, we have a list of services. We're going to be looking at the to-do list from 2013. Am I the only person who maybe has seen this film? Lamar has seen this film with me at some point in time. He does not remember. I'm pretty sure Mike was there. Nemo, have you seen this film before?
I have not seen this film. I was surprised that I hadn't seen the film. I was like, where was I when this happened? Because it seemed like it's a film that I would watch. So I was really confused.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's get into it. So we have a ton of stars in this film.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I know Aubrey Plaza is absolutely blowing up as of late. She's in White Lotus. I definitely know her from Parks and Rec, amongst a billion other things. We've noticed this before. Last August, we did an evening with Beverly Luff Linn from 2018, an Aubrey Plaza film. Bill Hader, who I absolutely love, is in this. Most of you will remember Bill Hader from SNL, clearly in Barry, It, Chapter 2. We have tons of people. We have people from Arrested Development. We have people from probably a million different TV shows you've seen. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is kind of surprising, and The Avengers. People from Superbad and Kick-Ass and Role Models. That's Christopher Mintz, Plaza, I think. He plays Duffy. Adam Pally is in a movie that I really like. It's called Band-Aid, and he plays Chip. He's in it very quickly. Andy Samberg is in this movie, which is just crazy. I don't know what's going on. There's just so many people.
And the ladies too. I can't remember, but they're in a lot of
Rachel
stuff too.
Bilson?
Yeah, as Amber.
OC?
Yeah. When we were watching this, so Mike, myself, and Lamar watched this separately from Nemo. That when we were watching this, I said, I know her from the OC. She plays a very different role on this show. She's actually one of my favorite characters of this entire film, all throughout. Her dialogue is phenomenal for me all throughout this film.
It comes out naturally too. It seems like she's writing it.
Yes, she seems angry.
A lot of dialogue is. This seems like they're just really just shooting off the cuff with it. It seems really natural. Like the interactions between the characters are really good in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's like they're just ad-libbing. Yeah, it sounded very natural.
And Donald Glover.
Damn right. Childish Gambino himself makes an appearance. Mike, do you remember the film we have seen him with Aubrey Plaza?
Mystery Team?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I would gladly do a Mystery Team for
Mystery
this
Team is
podcast
great.
at some point in time, which is...
Oh my God, it's the fucking Mystery Team.
Yeah, so there's probably a flash forward. Somewhere in our future, we'll be doing Mystery Team with Donald Glover and Aubrey Plaza.
One of the other kids from Mystery Team was in this movie as well.
I read that in the trivia. Do you remember who he is in this?
I noticed him when he was on the screen.
Was he a rival pool person?
Yeah, he was one of the guys from the other pool.
Nice.
Yeah.
This movie has it all. It has a sex list, rival pools, a valedictorian, and a cast of 20 people that you've probably seen before. Nemo, I have to assume you've seen almost everyone in this show before.
Yes, and I think that's why I was very surprised that I hadn't seen this movie specifically, because everyone who is in comedy and whatnot is in this movie. So I was like, and then the person who directed the movie is the ex-wife of Bill Hader.
Yes.
So
wow.
I was just like, and that's basically her story. She decided to just tell her story. And I'm like, oh, it kind of makes sense now, whether you're pulling all the connections of the Hollywood people.
Yeah, the director is Maggie Carey, and she has directed a ton of stuff that I'm sure a lot of people have seen. Never Have I Ever, clearly this movie, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Mr. Mayor, tons of TV shows. So I don't know, I didn't really look up too much, but I don't know how many films, but a lot of TV shows clearly connected to Andy Samberg, various other people too throughout this film. So yeah. Yeah, I'm also surprised this movie doesn't come up more often. Any reasons why? Anyone thinks?
I don't know. It's not a spectacular movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I might know.
But
Mike, I take it you were not liking this film.
No, I think it's fun. I'll talk about it later.
yeah, it has a lot of big names in it. You would think that a lot of more people would have heard of it, or it would have been just a summer blockbuster, it seems like. But I don't think this movie carries that vibe.
I think this movie is super fun. I'm going to defend this movie as a summer movie. Summer movies, and I don't mean a summer blockbuster. Summer movies like this, I feel, are super light and fluffy. I just always go back to just remembering this film because I do remember a lot of the cast. The soundtrack is ultra 90s. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons I like this film. I think I'm going to understand why Mike overall isn't going to think this is like a spectacular film, as Lamar is noting. But I don't know. A lot of the jokes I feel still hold up. I haven't seen this movie in a handful of years, but I like it overall. But yeah, I just don't feel this is the Aubrey Plaza most people see now. They probably see a much different person. And as we go into this film, just note everyone is in their like mid upper 20s and they're playing high schoolers. And the trivia is clearly they did all of this on purpose. Like no one's trying to pass off as really being 18 or whatever, or 17 that they're supposed to be. Like everyone is clearly much, much older.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking up the year of 2013 and I'm looking at like Thor, R.I.P.D., G.I. Joe, that is what's happening in 2013.
All of those movies you noted are terrible.
Yes.
Well, I mean, but the action movie, The Purge, Warm Body, Safe Haven.
I'm okay
Yeah.
with the first Purge. That was the first Purge in 2013.
Yep.
I'm down with that.
What If? Her. So yeah. So I don't know. I could see why this movie did not make it.
But that was all spread out throughout the year. I mean, this is what, like some kind of like late May, June release.
The first Purge only came out in 2013.
Yeah.
Wow, 2013 was a weird year.
I feel like it would have been. There's like 8,000 Purge movies now.
We were talking on a podcast recently, and Colin ran down. I think Nemo is when you were here with Colin, and we were doing Get Smart, and he ran down the movies of that summer, and I was like, holy crap. And I said, like, Mike and I saw like half of those, if not more, or whatever number I said. And there were just so many movies. And I feel since the pandemic, I don't know what happened. Like, what? Like, just people were like, some movies came out. I'm like, right? Sure. I have one. So I got some toys for my daughter from the Lightyear line. Yeah. And she's been playing with them, and I've never seen Lightyear. And that movie, I've kind of pieced together, I think any parent, Nemo, you probably recognize this, that you turn on a movie with a small child, and you're like, it's going to take me 50 times to watch this because they're so small that they're going to be doing other stuff. And I've been piecemealing Lightyear together. That movie is kind of awesome, and that movie was totally swept under the carpet. I was talking about this with Lamar recently. Is it because two women kiss in it? Is that like the freak out everyone had, and now this movie can't really be shown in other places? Like, what's the deal with this movie? It was in the theater.
That's what I heard, that it just got review bombed because of that scene and some other scenes. But I think the pandemic made it okay for everyone to accept that there's a new movie cycle that is... Like in the past, you release a movie in the theaters and then slowly to tape and then slowly to TV. Now it's just one big mess where everything's just released on streaming or to theaters right away.
But that was big business. I mean, that was a huge movie that had previews and went to a theater, and then all of a sudden it's like, it's on Disney. Yeah. And I've never even seen reviews on this film. It was just, that was a movie.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I think in the past that Lightyear would have had like at least 6 or 9 months timeline in theaters. But these days, if something just doesn't catch fire right away, or if it's not really, I hate use the word spectacular again, but if it doesn't really, if it's not spectacular, if it doesn't capture the audience, if it's not making boatloads of money right away, these companies will just move it straight to streaming, straight to TV, just get it out of here right away, make room for new shit.
But I think this movie, like, the rumor is, was it strategic? Was this movie part of cancel culture in some weird way where people were like, nah?
I think it was shoehorned in just for...
I mean, Chris Evans is the lead of this. I mean, I thought everyone loved Chris Evans. My love of a new actress and comedian is Keke Palmer. She is amazing. And she's like the secondary voice in this. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah. There's other people notable too. And from what I was gathering from the story, it was a seriously fun action adventure. It's not like Toy Story or anything like this. I never know you're talking about the movie. But I was like, I'm like talking about overlooked movies. I'm like, I don't know. Like, that was super weird. I mean, there's been a lot of other Disney movies where it's been very clear this is going to video or like direct to the Disney Plus. But that movie, it was just like, it was massively advertised, and I was like, don't worry about it. And then no one ever said anything. It was like, on to the next film.
Was it, Matt? I have never heard of this movie until you mentioned it tonight.
Lightyear?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been on a few trailers. Like, I even remember seeing it in the movie theater.
I do not, like, when you mentioned that there was a Buzz Lightyear movie, I went, really? Like, this has escaped me completely.
Yeah, I
mean...
So
if they're advertising it a lot, it is not to me. So maybe it's just not getting to the right people.
Well, I mean, so this is all like years ago. So like I'm late on the train.
Oh wait, when did this movie come out?
Like 2 years ago or so.
But maybe who knows? There's been a lot happening.
Yeah, and advertising for Disney movies has been kind of saturated and just really just low effort lately. There's a lot of movies I haven't even heard were even coming out until the day they were coming out, and people were trashing it already.
Yeah, people are weird.
Were they trashing their rights, man?
They were trashing their rights.
Well, again, overlooked film this quite is. So yeah, the to-do list. So we start off with Aubrey Plaza. She's the valedictorian, and it's the end of high school, and we're graduating. And she gives her valedictorian speech, clearly highlighting the tone of this movie and the tone of this person, where a couple of people are talking in the crowd, and she quickly says, "Silence," or "Stop talking," or something along those lines. Very April Ludgate from Parks and Rec, which is really not a huge leap in this movie outside of like the weird sex stuff. It's pretty much April Ludgate start to finish.
Yeah, I have to address that right away. When you're going into Aubrey Plaza movie, just expect April Ludgate character kind of.
She pretty much has the one thing she
Yeah,
has,
does
so.
she? I'm not familiar with a lot of her works. I love her work in Parks and Rec. That's my intro to her. And this was, I believe, my intro to her movies. This is the first movie I've seen her in.
I think this would be the first movie as well.
So it's kind of hard for me to separate her character. So
Was Mystery Team before this?
Yeah, but honestly, I think I saw maybe I think I want to say I saw Mystery Team after this.
Okay.
Maybe not. Mystery Team is before this.
Yeah.
That's a good call, Mike. Maybe no. This would be years. No, we definitely saw Mystery Team before this. I don't know.
That feels right.
It does feel right. Like the summer night.
this movie also feels like I seen it in 2018 or 19 instead of. It's been so long. These past
So
couple
Mystery
years.
Team was in 2009.
Wow.
So just wanted to throw that out there. But I think with me, I've been seeing her in Parks and Rec as her character. But before watching this, I've seen like Life After Beth.
Yeah, I've seen
I was
Life After.
yeah, and I
Lamar's
was like,
seen that.
okay.
Zombie movie.
Oh
Yep.
shit! Yeah. Okay.
Ingrid Goes to Hollywood. Is that?
Saw
Oh,
that
yeah.
one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
That movie's
and then,
excellent. We
like,
should do that for this podcast at some point in time.
Dirty Grandpa was the other one that I watched
I've
too.
not seen that.
Yep. I watched it for a different reason. Anywho, but yeah, so like,
For
is that
Robert
the
De
character?
Niro.
You're right, of course. Him shirtless.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Are you saying The Rock was replaced at that moment by De Niro?
Is that the same type of character y'all talking about?
Yes.
Are those? Is that who she is in Parks and Recs? Because I haven't.
Kind of, but
seen
with
the
less
movie.
fucking.
Okay, fair.
All of her movies are kind of about fucking. The one where like her and her friend need wedding dates.
Oh yeah, I like
Whatever
that one.
one's called.
Yeah.
With Adam Devine. I don't know if that's how you
Yeah.
say his name.
Yep.
I also like Safety Not Guaranteed. You and I saw that in the theater, I think.
Time traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that movie.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the only few time traveling movies we might ever do.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm interested.
Just like the listeners are. Hey,
Yeah.
listeners, like what are you up to? What are you interested in time traveling?
They're all fast forwarding until we get to the fucking movie.
No, they're not.
No.
Or they're thinking of time traveling movies they can recommend us, maybe.
Yeah. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Or they're traveling back in time to get it back.
Oh, you out of time, baby.
Well, going back to Aubrey Plaza's
Oh, the
character.
graduation.
Yep, Brandy. Brandy is really uptight.
Brandy Klark.
Brandy Klark, super, super intelligent, top of her class, top of her game. Everything makes sense to her except for sex, dating, and so on. And she quickly realizes by going to a party from her friends, I should say, not really the advice anyone should really give, but her friends say, you basically need to lose your virginity and you need to hook up and learn things, because if you go to school, i.e. college, and you don't know any of these things, people are going to think less of you and no one's ever going to want to date you and you're going to have a bad reputation. You know this trope. So she comes up with a very studious list of things to do. I do like when she comes up with a list. I know I'm jumping a little ahead, but she's like, I'm going to do a blow job, a hand job, and go through a list. And she's like, there's so many jobs.
You've skipped over
I know,
a literal page of my notes. Okay.
I know we're going back, but we could go back to this party. I was just kind of giving the setup and what this to-do list is going to lead us to.
Ah, yes.
But I present it to you.
That's true.
Paul's presenting. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike. You have a whole page, so I'll jump into your page.
Okay. Yeah, she wants to go home and like make lists or whatever after graduation, but her friends I don't know who one of them is, but the other one is Aaliyah Shawkat from
It's Wendy and Fiona.
yeah, from Arrested Development. They kind of kidnap her and take her to a party.
And it's the sister who later says that, freshman year is like one big sexual pop quiz. And she freaks out. That's the language she understands. But yeah, we're at a party. We meet a lot of people. We meet Rusty Waters.
Well, Rusty Waters is kind of pivotal here. He is a monumental chode who's playing "Pour Some Sugar on Me" on an acoustic guitar.
Yeah, really just going back and forth through those verses.
Well, he's only singing the chorus
Yeah.
over and over again.
Yeah.
But this kind of brings Aubrey, what's her name?
Plaza?
No,
Brandy.
Brandy.
This kind of brings Brandy online.
Would you say The Force Awakens?
Yeah, something awakens. Because she wants to leave, but all of a sudden she's like, you know what, we can stay. She grabs a bottle of what I believe was green apple pucker
Oh God,
it's
that
so gross.
looks disgusting.
and just chugs it.
As her sexuality awakens here, too bad Jeremy's not joining us. Remember on the last episode, it was Jeremy informed us that he is crushing hard on Aubrey
Yeah,
Plaza.
I feel like he would have had a lot of good comments on Aubrey's sexuality.
He would have learned how to play Pour Some Sugar on Me real quick, apparently.
He's practicing it right now.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
But yeah, so she's getting drunk. She's doing beer bongs. She's doing keg stands. It's drink time.
This is the first time that I noted that this was this movie set in the 90s.
Yeah, it was 93.
Yeah, 93.
93. I didn't know until I think someone mentioned it. It's like, come on, it's the 90s. I'm like, what? Yeah,
Even in the opening sequence, they're showing like the Apple computer, like the small
Yeah, I
computer.
noticed all that. But it's
CDs.
like, it didn't register with me
You just
until
thought she
then.
liked like nostalgia stuff. Yeah.
It's just weird that it's like taking place in 93, but the movie was created in 2013. So the whole time, like, it's not 2013. Could it have been 2013? Like, I was kept switching it back and forth, but that could also have been the drugs. I don't know. Just wanted to.
I just thought
let you all
people
know
were
that.
into MC Hammer and the Two Live Crew again. I was like, awesome. It was like hearing
Yeah,
this
Two Live
movie
Crew
open up with
opens the
me so
film.
horny.
I did, yeah. I forgot that. That was unexpected. There was a lot of fun in the soundtrack. Like
Yeah.
whoever organized the soundtrack clearly had a lot of fun with this.
The soundtrack's nice.
I don't know. I mean, I feel if the movie took place in 2013, they do note the limitations of the internet and like noting. I sent an electronic email to someone else that she comes up with this haphazard list of sexual things to do, and that I think if the internet existed, this movie couldn't exist because she would clearly look it up.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
someone mentioned that this was like semi-autobiographical of the director.
Of the director, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's just she's trying to reminisce of her time frame. But yeah, like the plot just couldn't work with cell phones, or at least smartphones. So
It wouldn't have been as fun. How about that?
yeah, for sure. Like yeah, I
'Cause-
mean, when she's making her list,
Yeah.
she's like rim job. What's that? And she can't find it in the Encyclopedia Britannica. So she's like, I'll have to ask the librarian. So there's like a lot of gags that just wouldn't land if you could just look anything up.
Yeah, in like a weird way, the first opening 5 minutes is if Lisa Simpson just graduated high school and now is making a sexual to-do list. And I know that sounds awkward to say, but that's kind
Yep.
of what we're being shown here.
Yeah, that's good, accurate. That's
Yeah.
accurate.
Wow.
And I like
Yeah.
it. Well, yeah, and in this opening scene, we see, or this early scene, we see that Rusty Waters is playing this guitar, and as noted, she absolutely falls in love with him, and then starts chugging that apple pucker, and then cut scene, she is vomiting green goo everywhere. Oh, we brought goo. If you're,
The
if you're
goo.
playing Rabbit Troop Sucks drinking game, get ready. Goo, goo, goo. 3 shots.
The goo.
Oh, you got to rewind back before she's throwing
yeah.
up. She was got to make out with him. That was her first
yeah.
time getting to actually touch. What was the quote that she said? That was all like, "Wow, you feel the
You
the
feel
way
like
you
Mark
look."
Wahlberg looks.
Yeah, and he's like,
Yeah.
and he says something like, I'm giving some good vibrations.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
so I guess to backtrack, she gets super drunk and her friends like dump her in a bed somewhere. And Rusty
Bunk bed.
yeah, on the top bunk of the bunk bed. Rusty thinks he's going to meet his girlfriend or just whatever chick he was going to hook up with that night. And because the lights are out and he walks into this room, he starts kind of making out with Aubrey and then realizes that it's not the right person.
I do like that there's a bit of sincerity throughout the entirety of this film, that he does realize this in the moment. He's like, holy shit, like, you're not the right person. And he's not opposed to it. It's, I did not mean to do this, and I did not understand the situation, and I am very sorry, and I'm putting back on my shirt, and I'm leaving immediately, like, as you should.
Yeah.
And it's almost kind of surprising that, as Mike noted, this guy's a total ass from the get-go. But you're like, oh, like, he's just kind of a vocal ass.
Yeah,
And,
he looks like a tool, but
yes.
like, honestly, one, you're right. Two, the conversation that they're having during the vomiting scene about like what happened, her friends are being way worse. They're like, man, if you'd have played it cool, you could have banged this dude. Like, they're basically talking about sexually assaulting someone who's unaware of who they're sleeping with.
Right.
And they're just like, yeah, like, you should have totally done that. He's hot.
So they are into Revenge of the Nerds situations
exactly.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
totally
duped this guy, like, you could have totally slept with him. Like, awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, very not awesome. They're crazy. It's crazy.
I can't tell if her friends are the best or the worst.
They're both.
Yeah, they're both. They're friends.
Perfect.
I'm still going with my favorites that I noted before. But there was no dog in this movie.
Oh, there
Oh,
you go. Yeah, that's unfortunate. They would have stole the show.
Yeah, Bill Hader and Rachel Bison are still my favorites.
Absolutely. You know, I feel like I conflated a lot of this movie with Adventure Time, because in both of these Adventureland.
Adventureland.
Yeah, because Bill Hader plays the manager of a water park in both of them.
Yeah. Or like a carnival.
Yeah.
Rather.
I mean, I know they're not the same movie at all, but for some reason, they're...
I like this
streams
movie
got
infinitely better. I watched Adventureland
absolutely.
again a couple summers ago, and I think you did too. I first saw it with Mike, and then I think independently watched it a couple summers ago because you were like, I watched it, and then I watched it again, and I was like, I still don't fully like this movie. It's like very uncomfortable to watch, and I think again that movie was super billed to be like this indie comedy.
Yeah,
it is not. No. Adventureland is not an indie comedy.
I mean, I think it's technically both of those things, but it's not.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Bill Hader, we're now in the next morning with Aubrey reporting for work for the first day of her summer job as a lifeguard.
Yeah, and the first person she runs into is Rusty Waters. And even this guy, again, he's like actually kind of nice. He's playing it kind of cool, but he's not being a jerk about it. And he's like, wow, last night, crazy. Like, he's not saying anything that's like super off-putting. He's clearly addressing the situation, kind of best as situation at this point in time. And Aubrey Plaza is the one who's turning into shit. Like she's saying just like and acting really off-put and weird. And clearly she's into this guy, but he's definitely like, hey, I understand what happened last night. We could just play this off. We're going to orientation. Let's just play it cool. She does not. And this is you get to meet Bill Hader. Bill Hader is drunk and hungover, I think, at the same time. Surrounded by Olympia beer cans, which I think is the thread throughout the movie. He just keeps drinking Olympias. And I think at one point in time, he's like, oh my God, what day is it? And Aubrey Plaza was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I was partying on Friday. And he's like, it's Monday. He's like, oh my God, I gotta get to work. But yeah, he's just passed out in one of those I don't even know how to describe those chairs.
Like a cabana chair.
Yeah, like those awfully plastic, never form-fitting, awfully hot but wet still chairs. You know, if you've been to a pool, you know what I'm talking about. Pool chair.
Well, but I think to add to this of like this group of lifeguards, there's the friend Cameron that's also a big part of this little adventure that she goes on.
I don't think
we have
not. No, we haven't because we were too busy with crusty water, rivers.
Which
I forgot.
Kind of a theme there.
Yeah, we have not talked about young Neil enough.
Yeah. Don't let the nice guy finish last, okay? Gosh.
But he sucks.
Young Neil?
He has feelings.
That's why he sucks. A little weird.
But I think So I think with any sort of movie and any like romantic comedy thing, there's always like this love triangle thing that is that is developed. And so we see her is oblivious that her best friend or lab partner, um, for the last whatever years, has a massive crush on her, and she doesn't notice that. And he follows her everywhere, including becoming a lifeguard with her. And so he's in a lot of what's about to happen with the interaction with all of them. And so I think that's what, I don't really know him. I've seen, like, for me, it's like insert generic white man in romantic comedies. So that's how I was like,
I'll reference him as Young Neil throughout. He is in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, also with Aubrey Plaza, and he plays Young Neil as part of the band, as the B-side bass player of the band, who then takes over. Is granted permission to sex Babam.
Nay.
You did it, Young Neil. Yeah, he does kind of suck. Aubrey Plaza's an ass to him throughout the movie, though, and I do feel bad for him. Not really towards the end. I mean, I understand he's angry and various other things, and he does whatever. But kind of earlier in the film, he does ask her out, and I mean, I don't know. He's excited that she kind of says yes, and so I don't know. I just feel bad for him early on that he's very hopeful that this is like a sincere relationship and she's taking this like a science experiment. But yeah, he gets in the crosshairs. But yeah, they're good friends and he is in the background. Him and McLovin, young Neil and McLovin team up. They're good friends. And yeah, so they're a huge part of this. And young Neil, i.e. Cameron, is also working at the pool. And he's trying to help her all throughout, but it's really a no-go. It's a really weird crew working at the pool.
It is. Yeah. Cameron's not as bad as you guys make him out to be. They portray him as like the nerd loser, but he's not like a Steve Urkel or anything.
He's he's the classic nice guy.
Yeah, but there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my aggression with him is he's a classic nice guy, but he's so oblivious and he's not dumb. Like he's an intelligent guy, and when things are happening in front of him, he is, I guess, like pretending it's not happening or looking the other way. I mean, this guy's 17, 18 years old. Like, come on. Like, I don't believe he would be like, I don't understand. Like, she's going on all these dates and she's always talking about rusty waters. Like, that just could be me. Like, I don't think he would be that oblivious. If he was 16 or 15 in this movie, I'd believe it more.
Yeah.
That's
very fair.
Take that. Take that, everybody.
It's been taken.
In the movie. Where was it taken, Mike? To the bank?
Well, not the back door. That's
There's
for
rules.
Sure. There's rules. Yeah.
There's a rule. So you'll find about those rules later.
And I think that then, since you talk about the back door, we need to talk about the parents.
Yeah.
Because we talked about the sisters, and I really love the dynamic between Agent Coulson.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's all I knew him as. I was like, Agent Coulson is back, and he's a judge now.
Yeah, I love him in this film. This guy is, yeah, if anyone's seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or any of the Avengers movies, and maybe I've seen like one other movie I can note him in, but really Marvel-oriented, he's the leader of this group and usually pretty serious and has comedic one-liners as far as adventure movies and shows go, but this movie is a completely different person. I really like seeing him. I would love to see this guy in more comedies. I love the dynamic of the mom and the dad. The dad is very prudish and I like ostrich syndrome. Like, I'm gonna stick my head in the sand. Everything that happens, if I don't see it, I don't believe it. He's very timid. He's under the impression his wife has never had any kind of sexual encounters before they were ever married. This is part of the problem that they developed throughout the film. The mom she works in the medical industry, right? I don't remember exactly what she does.
Yeah, I don't know if it's specified, but yeah, she's wearing scrubs all the time.
Yeah, so she's very sex positive and open, very open with both of her daughters. And I really like this. And there's very different parents, and clearly the daughters are sickened by both their parents for very different reasons, which is fun.
Despite all that, their parents they sound like they have a lot of personality, but they're really just cardboard. The dad is kind of just silent. He has a lot of quips, but he's kind of designed to be this silent dad. Like, no, don't talk to me about this. And the mom is giving advice that is just really over the top.
What you're telling me is, Lamar, you and I could write a new sitcom that takes place in the 90s, Silent Dad.
I think we should. We can run it for 5-6 seasons.
One-liners every which way, just everything else is silence. Or gestures like, ugh, oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. He's a judge.
Yeah.
We've seen enough of these dads where we can do it.
He judges over society and the laws, but he also judges over my emotions.
He's a dad who cares.
And I'm going to write that into the theme song of that film. And the background is going to be, he's a dad who cares. Yeah. Well, I think we get a lot of pool shenanigans going on. Very quickly, Aubrey Plaza is basically being punked. I think there's a series of events. The kids treat her like crap. All the lifeguards treat her like crap. The only one who's really nice, I mean, I feel Rusty Waters looks the other way. So he doesn't join in. He's just kind of like nice enough. He looks the other way.
I think this is like a hazing.
Yeah. But he's looking the other way oftentimes, or saying just like, I don't want to get involved.
Yeah, he's not really taking part.
Yeah, and Cameron is actively trying to help her, and it's almost making it worse because anytime Cameron tries to help, they send him off immediately and almost give her something worse to do.
Right. Well, they keep pushing her in the pool, but Rusty does, he helps her out of the pool, but then pushes her right back.
That's classic.
Yeah, I mean, if I were a lifeguard versus lifeguard, and this was like my first day, and someone did that, I wouldn't freak out. Like worst case scenarios, like I push you in the pool. Worse things are definitely happening to her, including eating poop.
The caddy shack.
But she did that to herself.
Yeah, this movie could have done without this.
It didn't need it. Yeah,
It didn't.
When a movie's like, you're gonna eat poop, write it out.
right.
Well, think about that before you write it.
Take the day, take the weekend, have a couple drinks, text that to your friends. I'm writing a scene where this girl's gonna eat some poop in a pool, and someone's gonna go like, right, Caddyshack, and you're like, yeah, I actually referenced that in the film, and then you're gonna go, double ding, take it out. I tricked you to admit it. Now get it out of there.
Well, and it was all like, so there's a turd in the pool, and they send her to clean it up, and she thinks it's another hazing thing. She thinks it's a candy bar.
Yeah.
Right. So she goes to get it, and she's like, "Oh, what is it? It's like a Mr. Goodbar, is it Snickers?" And so she picks it up with her hand.
Right.
The minute you pick up a poo with your hand, I'm assuming you're going to notice it doesn't feel like a candy bar.
Yeah, especially if
Hashtag pool poo.
especially if it's been sitting in a pool for like
Right.
wherever how long.
And then she puts it in, like, the whole thing, it didn't land. It was stupid.
She puts it immediately in her mouth.
Right
just
into
to
her mouth,
prove
yeah.
that I'm onto your prank. Yeah.
I'm wondering if Maggie actually did that or not.
I
No, I'm
mean,
just curious.
Yeah, I hope she didn't, but I
It's
hope
about
she
her
did.
life.
Yeah, I mean, I the fact that it made it into this movie makes me hope that it actually did happen.
Yeah, this is very Caddyshack as noted before, but I mean, the genius of Caddyshack was it wasn't poo, and so that's kind of extra why it's funny that it was a candy bar.
That's true.
If it's real poo, no. You've entered trauma films. Delete it. Delete it quick.
Or they just needed to make a toilet humor quota in their sex movie. I mean, every teenage sex movie needs like a little toilet humor in it. Maybe they need to check that off right quick just to get that out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it does lead to Aubrey Plaza trying to prank Willy, who's Bill Hader, and she throws him in the pool, and we quickly learn he cannot swim. He cannot swim, and he is running the pool situation as the head lifeguard or whatever his job actually is. I don't know, like pool overseer.
He was pool manager. I think he said it. Yeah.
And he begs her to keep the secret. She highlights that she's going to call the Parks Department. Saw the nod. I think it is a Parks and Rec, but you probably might call the Parks Department. So that really would be probably who you would call. But yeah, she keeps the secret by charging him money and is now going to give him swim lessons. So he learns to swim and checks off a life goal.
Yeah.
And he's also living there, we find out.
Yeah,
So
he is living there.
He needs the pool for a lot of reasons. He's living there. He is employed there. He drinks there.
Mm-hmm.
He skips days like a real time traveler would.
It seems like a pretty good setup, honestly. Like, it's hot out. You've got beer. You got a place to sleep. You got a pool. What else do you need?
Yeah.
Well, you definitely need to learn how to swim. I mean, you just said that's a recipe of disaster. I mean, you saw when he woke up in that weird chair that he was surrounded by like, I don't know, like 180 empty beer cans. You're clearly eventually gonna wander off into that pool.
Yeah,
I
that's fair.
also have to assume he is urinating in that pool from a distance every single night.
It was
just admittedly, it was like, of course it.
it was probably his turd.
Oh no.
No, don't say that.
Oh, he did mention them doing that to another pool later in that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
He's got to tell you.
But other pool, you don't contaminate your own pool.
that's true.
He might not have known he was doing it.
Oh, he's really nonchalant and not caring about a lot of stuff. His attitude is more of just want to sleep and lay about rather than do anything.
And also, it's not really his pool because he can't swim in it. So now it's his.
That's true.
His pee hole.
I didn't think about that. There's no need for him to be in there if you can't swim.
Well, he even said like the pool is essentially for all the brats or for the neighborhood kids to be there until September when they close down the pool. It was like, oh, that's a genius idea to babysit. I like it.
Yeah. Pro tip for both of you parents in the room.
Yeah.
Ditch them kids at a pool.
Hey, you know what?
Yep.
There's a lot of kids at the pool, and I don't see a single parent
No.
around. So
Nope.
yeah,
Parents don't want any of this shit.
Nope.
and parents
But as
just
long as
don't
there's
understand.
lifeguards, you're
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Well, so Aubrey decides it's time to start working on this list. And the first item she decides to cross off is the finger bang.
I believe finger banging
Yeah.
is number 1 on the list.
Her and her two friends go to I think it's just like a low key house party. And I think she's thinking she's going to get finger banged by McLovin, whatever the fuck his name is in this movie.
Duffy?
Duffy.
Yep.
But he answers the door, and all 10 of his fingers are bandaged and bloody from lighting off fireworks or something.
I believe they were cherry bombs.
Cherry bombs, yeah.
Like bandaged up and bleeding.
But then, in the kitchen later on, she sees young Neil double wash his hands.
And he's wearing a hypercolor t-shirt. Lamar, did you ever own a hypercolor t-shirt?
I don't think I have, actually.
I had one, if not two of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Some of your favorite shirts, huh?
not at all. Crazy craze, if anyone remembers in the 90s. Hypercolor were t-shirts that you would wear and your body heat would activate them. And I remember the two I had because one I really liked and the other you wouldn't, I didn't like. And everyone was always like, oh man, you're sweaty, and you're like in weird parts of your shirt, not just to me, to everyone. They're just like, we could see that you're like sweating under there or whatever. Clearly, and you could. And kids would wear them to gym class and various other things. And schools had poor air conditioning like they do now. So yeah, everyone looked like a monster. I do remember the one I had that I liked, and I think it was just like a hand. So it was like on the center of my chest instead of the entire t-shirt activating with different colors. And if you were like hot or warm, then the hand would like turn yellow or something. I was like, that's cool. But yeah, weird craze. I mean, there are so many crazes like that in the 90s with like t-shirts. I mean, I know there's lots of crazes, but it's just like that seems very 90s to me. Like, Mike, can you imagine that someone's like, oh my God, dude, like you've got to get this t-shirt right now.
Yeah, no. I can't.
But I can't even imagine teens are feeling that. Like, dude, you've got to hit up Cherry Creek Mall. Like, what are you talking about? The new iPhone's coming out? No,
bro.
T-shirt.
Yeah, t-shirt.
T-shirt. There's 3 lights on it. Spells out your name. It's got a laser. I'm getting it. Dude, dope.
Get some Zubaz and
Oh my God, some Z Cavarici pants.
get a what was those? Not the waist pocket thing.
Fanny packs?
Fanny pack.
Oh, man.
Get some of those.
That's coming back.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
like
yeah.
all sorts of new packs back.
now.
Well, now.
Oh man, you walk downtown, you can't swing a dead cat without seeing
Wow.
a fanny pack on. But they don't wear it around their waist. They wear it like a twatty shoulder strap.
All right.
They're shoulder strap sacks,
Yeah.
and they're huge in Asia. In Asia, I get lots of. Uniqlo sends me things like that. That's
right.
all part of it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Break out the neon pink fanny pack then.
We're back in the 90s.
Yep.
My girlfriend has a neon Simpsons fanny pack that she wears around.
Oh, shit.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Is it though?
Now that you're making me question,
It could be.
No, it's pretty good.
you could wear it next time.
Yeah, I will.
What would you put in it?
Snacks. Mostly.
What kind of? Are you gonna feast on?
I'm gonna
snacks?
feast on snacks, yeah.
What kind of snacks would you feast on?
Probably like some pub mix and maybe high chew.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're a house of haichu listeners, so
Yeah.
if we're ever smacking on some candy, it's haichu or Sour Patch Kids. There's a or Twizzlers or Swedish Fish.
No one has more haichu in their house than I do.
Yeah,
I can guarantee that.
stacks of haichu, haichu for days. Oh yeah, we're back on this list. Well, Cameron's back in the mix. Duffy's out, Cameron's in, and then they go to a plastic couch.
Yeah.
Or is this our Italian ancestors, Mike?
It is, yeah.
don't you kids don't you get too sexy, but if you do, I got a plastic couch.
Oh man, I don't want to derail this any further, but I'm going to. I went out to a restaurant that's in my new neighborhood. It's a Mediterranean place, and all of the tables and chairs are covered in that plastic grandma couch cover.
Amazing.
It's great.
Are you
Very
going
nice.
That's
back, are you going
amazing.
back to this place?
The food was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have to now.
Yeah, shoot, they got you.
I ordered a mint lemonade, and this bitch made, like, she was squeezing lemons. She had a Cuisinart and like a pound of mint. It was the best drink I've ever had.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was so
I
good.
thought she was old school, like mixing. Did she have the paddle and she's doing
That's how they juice the lemons.
Well, I was gonna say that if
nice.
you check the cameras, it's probably people feeling like Mike, like, oh, it's the best drink, just pouring it over their face, and
can see that.
like, you know what? Put plastic over this.
Yeah.
People are freaking out.
They just don't want their furniture ruined, so
No.
they got like
They only have the
furniture
one
on there.
set. They got to keep it around.
Oh, that's
It's
all
like a
right.
Bacchus festival. Like,
Yeah.
these people need to calm it down.
They do. But yeah, shout out Tootie Grill.
All right,
Denver.
Oh, hey, them. Okay,
Dude, it's so fucking
really.
good. Yeah.
All
Now I
right.
want one of those lemonades.
Yeah. I'll bring you one next
Wow.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone should. I think I mentioned before, if anyone has connections to some kind of local brewery,
We
I
just
would,
like beverages. Right?
well, yeah, I would love to feature. Like, we're not looking to, like, please, like, send us a keg, but if you're a local brewery and you want us to feature something special, I would sample it with everyone here before. I'm going to keep saying this on every episode.
You don't even have to pay us. We're not looking for an advertise. Well, we are, but not in that way. We just want to drink things that are fun.
Tape the cash to the bottom of my can.
That's
or,
fine,
Or
yeah.
bottle,
There it
preferably.
is.
Anyway, we're finger banging
We're finger banging on a plastic couch.
on a plastic couch,
Yeah.
and he's having trouble getting through the skort.
That
He was like,
good.
"What
That was
is
good.
this? Is it a
That
skirt
was
or a
good.
short?" and before the finger banging, I think the friends with Brandy was talking about, is it finger blasting, finger bombing? And I was
Well,
like,
Oh, yeah.
we find out it's a
Finger
finger
bombing.
bomb.
It is a finger bomb, yeah,
yeah,
because it doesn't go well. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
that scored man gets in the way.
You know, you can't do a good finger bang through a skort. I'll tell you.
But they quickly jump to a second date where they're off to Tom Cruise's classic and John Grisham, The Firm,
The Firm, yeah.
1993 as well. And she is on to part 2 of the list with Cameron. This is why I feel bad for Cameron. He thinks he's going on sincere dates, and he is not. Like, he just is not in the know of really what's happening. Later, that's why I'm like, come on, man. She's like dating other people. People are talking about this, and he clearly is talking to her. But now I feel like he's more innocent and silly, naive Cameron.
Yeah.
Also, keep in mind that she's taking this whole list very methodically. Like, this is a research project. Like, I am gathering my skills and experience so that I ultimately get to my goal of
Right.
rusty waters.
Yeah, she's not enjoying any of this.
I know.
right?
Well, no.
If this is 2020 and above, it would just be on ChatGPT, and you would just ask ChatGPT what to do, and you'd get some answers.
There you go.
Yeah.
You get Rusty Waters' address, which is his van.
Well, she's not combining any of these, which I think is her folly.
That's very true.
Like, hey,
That's
thanks
true.
for finger blasting me on this plastic covered couch. I gotta go.
She organized a whole date over just finger blasting.
Sometimes you gotta roll one into another.
And while they were on the couch, Mazzy Star, Fade Into You. I was like, that's just sad. I was like, come on, don't play this song now. Definitely one of my favorite artists of all time. And I was like, because a lot of the rest of the soundtrack is so fun, and this is more sincere. And I was like, but I understand. If I had the rights to Fade Into You, I would play it just for everything, like my doorbell,
Right.
the opening theme to this podcast.
You could make it your doorbell.
Do you want that? No,
Like
we don't.
the whole song.
Yeah, every time the doorbell rings,
Sure.
you have to sit through a 3.5
Then I
minute.
have to call Senor Ding Dong.
You're
and
gonna
he's
get
have
a
to whip it
Whitey
back
Bird
to shape.
suddenly appears thing going on.
Or is your doorbell like the Southwest doorbell?
The future doorbell.
Yeah, in the
Someone's
future,
at
with
your
the
door.
doorbell.
Yes, that's what I want. So all of those answers are yes.
Okay, perfect.
But now we're back in the firm.
The apropos movie for the hand job in the firm.
Kids, you don't know where that butter's been.
Well, she just starts going at it. She doesn't even ask permission. She just unzips and starts cranking. But she finds something down there, and she doesn't know how to deal with it. So she gets up to call for help, and she calls her sister.
Right in the middle of it.
Yeah, she just gets up and leaves.
This is one of the moments I love the sister.
Yeah.
The sister, they bicker left and right. They are very catty to one another, but clearly love one another. But the sister, I feel, is just older, more experienced, and just like, I don't want to talk to you. But when she makes this phone call, it's like, I need some of your expertise, meaning her sexual background. The sister goes, I'm listening.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that because she was listening and
Yeah.
then does give her advice.
And the advice is use butter for lube.
Hot butter from the butter pump.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if she specified you got to use the butter, but that's what she had available.
Nemo, who do you think in Hollywood has like very nice skin?
Oh wait, has nice skin.
Yeah.
Is it The Rock?
No, it could be anyone.
They could. Well, I thought of The Rock for some weird reason.
Yeah,
don't know
weird.
Yeah, you're
No
always
one's
thinking.
surprised. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, Ryan Gosling.
okay, let's say we're Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
It's clearly, I would assume he's on the butter method. There's a little hot butter to the face. You stop by like Regal or AMC, and you're like, I just want a little hot butter.
Yeah,
You
give me the butter.
You pat it right. You pat it right in your face.
Just pour it right in your hand, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you put right in your face, like you're washing your face, like in Home Alone. He's like, and you would,
Oh,
but it's like the new skin peel. You haven't heard this, the hot butter method?
You smell nice afterwards, too.
Yeah.
You guys think I'm joking, but all of a sudden, like 20 years in Korea, they're gonna be like, yeah, we've been using hot butter for years.
I just kind of want some popcorn.
I think
now.
they do that now. Too. Kind of want some popcorn,
Yeah,
too.
it's like an all natural skin peel. They're like, oh my god, you should have tried it.
I think they do that now.
Everyone should Google that. And don't
Skin
use our
peel?
name. Sure. Skin peel? Yeah, sure. But like, I think Lamar's referencing the hot butter method.
Yeah. I don't know if they shaved like Kramer and Seinfeld in that episode where they use butter instead of shaving cream.
Yeah.
oh,
People smell delicious.
Yeah.
they would. Yeah.
Yeah, so she comes back.
Oh, yes. The hand jobbing.
Well, it goes way better with the butter.
It does.
Yeah.
I do like that people in the theater are clearly aware, like fully aware of what's happening.
Right. Like the woman's like, dude, say something. I paid for this ticket. And her husband or boyfriend's like, no, I'm going to leave. I'm going to let this ride.
Yeah, I would not want to be involved with that in any capacity.
Right. Hey, teenage children, stop cranking
Oh,
on me.
and the poor guy yelled out, "I love you."
Yeah.
Aw,
Oh, yeah.
he did.
Well, you
He
know,
was just talking to the butter.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
out of context.
Oh, right.
Then, another check off the list, and we're back at the pool. And this time, for whatever reason, Aubrey Plaza's character finds a weird pink bikini in like the Lost and Found. Is like, fine, I'm gonna sex this up because
Well, yeah, Rusty like gives some. She thinks Rusty's talking to her, but he was actually talking to like a hot older woman who was wearing a bikini,
Yeah,
and she's
who's
like,
getting-
you know what, I can fuck with this.
yeah, she wants preferential treatment just like that. So yeah, so she goes down a kid slide, which is I don't know 3 feet. And the top falls off, and now she is topless. You don't see anything, but I mean, Aubrey Plaza turns around. It's like one of the many mishaps that she's topless, and like all these little kids, and her boss, and the dude she's trying
just
to impress.
everybody.
Yeah. Which is really messed up.
Yeah, the whole time they're just giving her, they're giving her shit through the hazing scene, and it just kind of carries over to this scene. She
Yeah.
loses her top, and they're still just like laughing at her.
Right.
So it's a scene that make her just feel like shit.
This also adjacent to this is one of my favorite Childish Gambino moments because he works at the pool as well, Donald Glover.
He's been getting very little airtime until now.
Yeah, and they kind of pan to him, and he's just talking about like Yeah, is like just a boxer, like just going right at your nuts.
Yeah, it's like 1, 2,
1, 2.
3.
Just
like out of
it's like
context.
you're just getting pounded in your nuts. I don't know what he was talking about.
It's always been my favorite scenes in movies and shows where it just cuts in the middle of dialogue and they say something so obscene. It's like, what? Huh?
Well, Donald Glover has a total dynamite smile. Like if anyone's watched
He
Community,
does.
anytime he
Damn
smiles, like it makes me smile. And he's saying he has this huge smile, and that's why I'm laughing. That he's like, "Is this hitting you in the nuts? 1, 2, 3." He's just smiling the whole time while saying it.
But we have a classic miscommunication kind of game of telephone, and because of this, Aubrey thinks that Rusty is going to be playing at a club, and he is, but she goes to the wrong club.
Yeah, and now we're introduced to Andy Samberg and his weird grunge band.
Right. I mean, this is like Sadgasm from The Simpsons.
Yeah, that totally.
Basically.
Like
Oh, man.
15 layers of flannel.
Yeah.
Everyone who clearly knows me knows I love Boy Meets World. They analyze their clothes left and right. Shirts on top of vests on top of flannel, jackets and hats and nonsense on what's going on. That's what this band is doing. And Aubrey Plaza gets on stage, and Andy Samberg thinks she's super into him, and she is not. She is looking for Rusty Waters, but they're singing their song, and then they hit it off and take all these boys from the band back to the pool.
When as the band is wrapping up, when he's thinking, thank you. Where the fuck are they? Cleveland or something?
Boise.
Boise. It's like, thank you, Boise. Like, you've been great. Blah blah blah. Save the whales and free to bet if you have the time.
If you have the time.
If you have the time.
Work it into... Nemo, when's the last time you freed Tibet?
I mean, wasn't that when Brad Pitt was in Tibet?
That's when you freed it?
It took him fucking 7 years. I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
Was it 7 or 12 years?
It's 7.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I thought it was
But Brad Pitt's in like dog years. I mean, I don't know.
yeah.
Do you go in the reverse or do you go forward with Brad Pitt? I mean, was it 7 years in Tibet like 500 years for me? Or was that just like 30 seconds for me?
it's hard to
How does he
tell.
work?
I don't think that movie's about freeing Tibet. I think he was a Nazi sent there to like steal shit.
Isn't that the movie where they free the whale over Tibet? Like the whale goes
The
over
whale,
Tibet?
Yeah, the whale jumps over
Like
the Himalayan
like
mountains.
arcs like a
Wow.
rainbow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and Brad Pitt's like, you can do it, and then gets splashed. And he's like, hee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like, thanks, Julie Newmar.
God damn it. God damn it.
yeah.
Yeah.
lovely.
Okay.
Boom.
So I would like to point out that all the supposed hot guys are apparently guys that looks like they didn't wash their hairs for days. Is that correct? Is that what we're looking at?
It
From
is correct.
Dusty Water to what's this with Andy Samberg?
Well, he
and his
didn't.
look?
He just dyed his hair,
Oh,
so he
yeah.
can't wash it.
Yeah,
for a
so he
little
can
bit.
wash it. It just looks nasty.
It is
does.
nasty.
What's your problem with 90s hobo?
I don't know. Maybe the smell.
Yeah, sure.
In the '90s, we were all hobos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Do you know how awful that pool actually smelled?
Yeah.
Oh. No.
Yeah, think
Oh.
about that. There's hair dye and sex happening and poo.
And apparently fecal matter.
Yeah.
The amount of chlorine needed to just purify that pool was holy water.
Do you think there was an even flow?
Oh man, don't do that. Don't do that. Now you got that song stuck in my head, damn.
Well, Andy Samberg is the poor man's Eddie Vedder.
Yeah.
I mean, that's clearly what he's trying
Yeah.
to be in all of this. I like his cameo in this. I know.
It's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Not everyone likes Andy Samberg. I think Andy Samberg's funny and he's great with this.
He's an acquired taste.
Yeah, anytime he works with Bill Hader, there's always kind of fun to be had. It's usually, I feel, a lot of improv is happening.
That's true. I felt a lot of that improv was happening in these scenes as well.
Yeah, so everyone's making out in pools. They eventually go back to the shower room.
Yeah, because it's BJ time.
Yeah, she needs to get her BJ check.
And does. Check.
Yeah, boom.
Just like that. I like how
Hater.
he's going down on him, and the showers on and this weird. Where are they? In like a.
They're in like the pool locker room, I
Yeah,
guess.
Yeah.
and the shower's on. It's like washing all the dye out of his hair, and it's running down all the walls and on her face. So when she's done with the blowjob, her face is just covered in black dye
Right.
from his
Well,
hair.
And his melodic enjoyment of said BJ wakes up Bill Hader.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he's in the other room,
Yeah.
and he's hearing just
I
anything
love
going
that
off.
scene.
Yeah, it was good.
Bill Hader freaks out, punches a wall in a locker.
He's been waking up and
runs out, and as the whole band is just smoking joints, Bill Hader then is puffing on Noel. He's like, "Oh, that's good shit," and then he's like, "Oh, that's really good." And Andy Samberg says some weird nonsense, and eventually he's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna write that into a song." And Bill Hader's like, "Of course," but that's after Bill Hader's like, "Dude, these are girls. I mean,
Yeah.
they're in high school. You guys are like 10 years older. What are you guys doing?" But Andy Samberg's like, "Oh, I'm in a band, and this is what happens." And Bill Hader's like, like Jedi mind tricks. Like, "Oh yeah, of course, like, of course. Like if you're in a band, dude, you do whatever, and where the poetry takes you."
that was his one instance of trying to be an authoritative figure that just went wrong once weed was introduced.
I do kind of like him being serious pissed.
Yeah.
It does establish that he does very much like Brandy. He has been punking her all throughout the movie, but clearly cares enough that he does look after her and, doesn't want harm to come to her.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's funny when she falls in a pool or does weird stuff, but not, this is too far. And so I think even Bill Hader knows that.
Yeah, you do see that line where Bill Hader is like, okay, this is the line, but he fucks around a lot.
Yeah, definitely. So it's kind of it's become public knowledge that she has this list because some kids overhear her and her friends talking about it, and now everyone's kind of trying to get on this train.
And Cameron is ultra freaking out.
Cameron is ultra freaking out. He yells, "I hope you get AIDS" at her, which is
He only freaked out was because she bailed out on the date
Oh, yeah.
that they were
Cameron-
supposed to meet up.
actually
But then
Yeah. Cameron
yeah,
actually
but then
finds the
she
list.
went. Yeah, but then she went to the bar and that's to the band, and then he found the list in her bedroom. That's why he was like, "Wait,
Yeah.
what is this?"
I have
and there was
problems with this.
Yeah, the parents.
So do I.
The parents are, at one point in time, the parents let him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he
And-
shows up for a date, and they're like, "Oh, she's not here. She's doing
Yeah.
other stuff. Why don't you just come in
Yeah,
and
come
hang
on
out
in
in
and just
her room?"
rummage through her shit.
Yeah.
Stay in her room and wait. She'll be home in a little bit. And yeah, so he starts just going through her stuff. There's a lot of problems going on.
Yeah.
Like, why is he going through her stuff?
Like-
I mean, if I was in a room, I wouldn't go through her stuff.
You're like,
And
dick move on his part, dick move on the parents'
yeah,
part.
totally. If I were the parents, I wouldn't be like, "You're waiting in this room." I'd be like, "If you want to hang out for 15 minutes, cool, in like, I don't know, our living room. And if she doesn't show, I'm going to casually escort you out. And I guess you can watch TV for 15 minutes or be on your phone or do whatever."
Like, I understand the parents like care for Cameron. Cameron's kind of just been this hovering little guy who wants to bang their daughter or whatnot.
Yeah.
But like, she's done with him, and they know that. But they're like, "Oh, we're sorry." They just have so much of a heart for him that they just let him in like that. I
Yeah,
don't.
no.
I don't like that scene.
Fuck that.
Well, in the meantime, she's checking off another element or another mission or job off the
It
list.
is a mission.
Yeah.
It is a mission.
And it's with Donald Glover, who asked her out.
No, you skip McLovin.
I did skip
Yeah.
McLovin. Whoops.
Yeah.
These come back to back. I totally skipped.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty fast and furious.
Duffy.
much like the dry humping with Duffy.
Yep,
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
that
Check.
was rough.
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah, we'll skip that. Check. Then Donald Glover
yeah.
asks her out. Yeah, I forgot about that one. And then she's off to another part of her list.
The cunnilingus,
The cunnilingus. Yeah,
Mr. Glover.
you had me at eating pussy.
I did like he had one scene afterwards. He's like, I can't. The phrasing was, "I suck dick at eating pussy."
Donald
I just
Glover?
thought that's. I just thought that's just a great line right
That's
there.
how he was trying to get his, get in there. He's like, I need someone to practice it.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that was his get in line.
Yeah,
She was in.
I just think
Yeah.
that's just a good line in general.
it was. Yeah,
And in this situation, his little brother walks in. And somewhere I have a quote. He's like, "Oh, you told me no one was here." And he's like, "No one is here." And I'm trying to see if I could find out what this is.
He's my little brother. He believes in monsters and shit.
Yeah.
He's not a real person.
Yeah, he's my little brother. Oh, Benji? He's my little... he believes in monsters and shit. He's not a person. Totally, Lamar, you got it. Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, shit. That was this movie made me chuckle only a few times. Like, belly laughing chuckle. That was one of them.
Then we see some cracks in the friendship between Wendy and Fiona that although they were super involved and happy that Brandy was going through this list, that it's now taking up a lot of time and Brandy is being pretty reckless on who she is hooking up with. Wendy is furious that she is hooked up with Duffy. And in the meantime, Cameron has gone on a freak out, went to the drive-through windows like randomly asking girls out. And Fiona accepted a date with him. So now everyone's pissed at each other, and the friends are not happy.
The note I have is just bitches flipping out, and then I just drop my notebook right there.
Fiona calls Brandy a slut, and they storm off.
Yeah.
And says, you don't deserve to watch Beaches. Because they were going to watch Beaches together.
Never seen Beaches. How was that movie?
Is Beaches for winners like Denny's?
Yeah. Actually, no. I think it's the opposite.
Oh. Beaches is for
I've never
losers?
seen Beaches. I don't even
Just
know
about
what
to
it
ask
is.
Nemo if you've seen.
It's a Barbara Streisand movie.
I've never seen Beaches.
No.
I'm never going to cover it on this
That's
podcast.
because you're not a 55-year-old woman.
Oh,
If we had a 55-year-old woman, should we cover it?
Let's go call one.
I don't know any.
What if,
I mean, I recognize the song when they start singing. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know that
What
song.
if that woman came over and I just pretended to record and we just left? We're like, oh, that's how it's done.
You're just going to leave her in your basement.
That's a lost episode.
Oh, yeah. And then, I was like, yeah, it premiered on the Joe Rogan show. Go listen to it or whatever. And then we get Joe Rogan money. That's
I would like that Joe Rogan money.
the money we need. That's the money Rabbit Troop Sucks would like.
Yeah.
Start a Kickstarter, world.
Hey, someone bought a t-shirt. That's awesome. Whoever is wearing that t-shirt probably right now.
Wow.
Thank you for buying that.
Alrighty.
Yeah, we have T-shirts online.
Yeah.
I think there's always sales going on. They're very affordable.
And I like the design.
And if you ask us, send me a T-shirt. That's not how it works. You just go to our website, rabbittroopsucks.com, and there are T-shirts and merch you could buy.
There's 2 designs.
Yeah.
We've promised, me personally, I've promised probably 7 new t-shirt designs based on things that have been said. Never going to make those, so just forget about that.
You never know. Come on. Now.
It's possible, I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Every time, so I was listening to the Get Smart episode today, and there was a t-shirt proposal in there that I thought was pretty solid, and I might actually make that.
I don't even remember what it is, so it would be a surprise to all of us.
It's a Christmas themed t-shirt.
Ooh,
yeah.
I
So
like Christmas.
if I remember in a couple months, we'll do like a special holiday drop.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That works.
Okay.
I still have some shot glasses, so if anyone is listening and you have a killer idea, write us. Just go to the website or hit us up at rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com and send us what do you think would be a really cool movie idea that we would all like. And we'll, if we like it and we air it, we'll give you credit and shout out and send you a shot glass.
Yeah.
And maybe I should gear up early and maybe want to think of some cool Halloween-themed things. So I'll give some ultra advanced. Think about a cool Halloween-themed movie and or anything. And if we do it, you're in.
Yeah.
You drink right out of a cool glass.
Yeah. Hand wash only.
Well, boom.
Yeah.
Oakcrest strikes again.
Fucking Oakcrest.
Back
Damn
at the pool,
Oakcrest.
it's vandalized, and I'm going to just cut to the chase. This is just kind of a non sequitur of the overarching story. They want to get back at Oakcrest, the rival, well-to-do country club, and they go and they pour a bunch of soap on detergent, and then they have a sudsy little game where they take off their clothes, and Brandy leaves her bra, and quickly we're back at the regular pool, and everyone's super happy that they vandalized Oakcrest, but Brandy left her bra, who has her name written in there, and she said, you got to do that to prepare for college, you got to write in everything. And she's immediately fired. Bill Hader fires her. And
Well, because Jack McBrayer tells him to.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a really weird character. Like, I don't know his angle. They did vandalize theirs, but this guy is pissed. They did break pretty much their pool, amongst other things. But yeah, Brandy is now out of a job. She's out of some friends. She's very confused about relationships in general. This is definitely leading us to the end of the film where she needs to make some decisions and she learns some things along the way. It's a learning process. Mm-hmm. The tale is old as time. You'll learn something.
And part of her learning process, she grew a pair and just asked out Dusty Waters on a date.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And he's liking her little rebellious attitude as well. So that kind of greased the wheel to him saying,
why not?
He didn't say, he said, why not?
Yeah. So they go to Beaver Creek.
Beaver Creek. That's the make-out place.
Everyone goes to Beaver Creek.
And throughout the whole movie, everybody's been mentioning that in the old days, you go to Beaver Creek to make out or whatnot. The parents.
Except for the judge.
Well, the mom has been there. The
dad
dad has not been there.
That's true.
Well, until tonight.
That's a good point.
Well, we do see that very soon.
Yeah.
Daddy's got his own van. Daddy van.
Yeah, Daddy.
The daddy van.
The mother is getting that Dad D in the next van over, and the dad and Aubrey make eye contact mid coitus, and everyone kind of freaks out. But he's not convinced that it was her. They all just kind of hide.
The moral of all of this is that Brandy has lost her virginity.
Yeah.
And she has had sex.
It didn't take very long.
And she is very disappointed about the situation.
Rusty's a premature guy.
Yeah.
And she wants to leave immediately because she then just saw her dad. And they get back to her house. He drops her off. And Cameron, you just hear, and just runs from the side of the screen in a run punch and punches Rusty in the face. He barely flinches. And Cameron keeps running and then runs back. And with basically one hand, Rusty throws him to the ground.
Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza's pissed. Rusty is furious as well, but not as much as Cameron is. Cameron's basically screaming out and just getting manhandled. Is very upset that she had sex. And she's like, it's not what you think. I've learned some things. And she does tell Rusty that she'll always remember these moments. And she was happy it was with him. But it would just be a story to tell, and he's cool with that. And I kind of like that they're both okay with that situation, that, they're both consenting adults, and that's how it's going to leave off. Cameron is still sad, and that's kind of where we're at. In the meantime, Bill Hader came to visit to stop whatever might happen because he was really afraid that Brandy was going to fly off the edge. But Amber, the sister, Rachel Bilson, found out Chip has been cheating on her, and she has been engaged to him. And he has been cheating on him with strippers, as quote unquote she said. Mm-hmm. And she just wants to have sex as revenge. And Bill Hader is in the right place at the right time.
This is my favorite line of the movie.
You could detail it out.
Yeah, he knocks on the door. And it was established that they knew each other. They were in high school at the same time. Although he was a senior when she was a freshman, I think, is what they said. But they met earlier. So he knocks on the door and he's kind of explaining why he's there. And the sister's like, yeah, she's not here. And then she looks at him and she says, hey, you got a dick under that poncho?
Doesn't he go like,
love it.
Why?
Yeah. Right, but she wanted that dick.
They met each other earlier when she went to the pool,
yeah,
and they kind of gave each other the eye, maybe something.
And lots of fun music around there too. Yeah, Cranberries, Dreams, James's Laid.
Oh shit!
Tons of iconic '90s songs going in. But on the way back, we were back with Bill Hader and Rachel Bilson as they are mid sex. She is on top of him, and he's standing up as. The judge, Agent Coulson, walks in, and he is furious about what's happening, and Bill Hader finishes sex
while making eye contact
with him. Very awkward. You should watch it. And that kind of dissolves later on, and he goes back to the pool, and he sees Aubrey Plaza. And Aubrey Plaza is there to thank him that he was actually sincerely looking after her. Mm-hmm. And he's actually been quite nice. And he does pay her for all the swim lessons and says, if you want to come back, you could take over because next summer I'm not going to be here and you should take over. And he's going to better himself after being with her sister, who he said was like being with or eating caviar. He realizes he could do better for himself. and he should start bettering himself. And Aubrey Plaza appreciates that, and that's kind of where they end off. I thought that was a good way to end off those characters.
And in his mind, bettering himself means following the Grateful Dead around.
Yeah, which is probably better than that pool.
I just want to make a note. I think he started to follow the Dead around. This was in '93. I think Jerry Garcia died like a couple of years later. So, and the Grateful Dead, they still toured, but I think him following the Dead, I think that just stopped immediately after this movie.
Yeah. Well, he said, he's like, I need to follow the Dead because I've been, really, really scared about Garcia's health as of late. So
that might be all tie into all this.
Yeah,
I can't remember. I think the years correlate to that, so they did the research.
That makes sense.
I'm guessing 95.
Mm-hmm. I believe that's right. I remember I went to Vegas for training for a job I had at that time, and I remember the Dead playing that Vegas show around 94, 95. I believe that was their last show with Garcia doing it. I believe that was
good call. August
95,
1995.
Okay.
Boom. We pieced it together.
Nice.
That's what we do at Rabbit Troop Sex.
Oh shit, he was only 53. He looked like shit.
You got to go to recall.
Drugs are a hell of a drug, man.
God, yeah.
Yeah. I just had to think about where I was in time and space, and I was like, I remember. I could do it. Well, we get one last scene, and Aubrey Plaza, Brandy, is at college. She's in the dorms. It's now fall of 1993. She's putting up some posters or doing something in the hallway, and she runs into Cameron. And Cameron's like, well, I've had sex, and, it's good to see you. And I realize sex could just be sex, and it doesn't always have to be a thing, and, whatever. And then, boom, they're having sex in the other room, and she checks off her last list of having an orgasm. Mm-hmm. And then her dad walks in on her.
Yeah. And is very upset because he thought they established earlier that there was no back door.
That's true. That was a rule. And I'm not sure if there was back door here.
Yeah,
there's no nudity in this movie at all.
No. Did he just assume that she was getting
But I assume because of the position, but that's not always the case with that position. So I'm assuming based off his angle that he assumed that there was a back door.
Well, he doesn't know shit about
That's
sex,
very true.
He
has only had sex with one person and his wife, and I assume that they have not experimented with a lot of positions.
Maybe she only lets him in the back door, which is why he assumes that's all that's going on.
That is really bizarre to think about. I didn't think about that.
Well, we got deep, and I used that intentionally. So here on Rabbit Troop Sucks tonight. Wow.
With a movie like this, you got to think about these things.
Yeah.
So what did you all think about the to-do list? Nemo, what'd you think?
That is how that movie ended, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I like the movie. I thought it was cute. For me, I think I really appreciate her not shying away from this stuff. And they talked a lot, the dialogue about, slut shaming and stop whoring out and stuff like that. But a lot of it was just, it's okay. You're trying to figure out what you like, what you want to do. And so I think I appreciated that part of it. Now, in 2023, I don't know how it would have been then. I think that's the other thing I have to take in context. Like, if that makes sense to you. Nowadays, I'm like, but if it was during that time, that would have seemed so far out in every capacity that she's trying to do or even trying to explore. And having a mom so open like that, jeez.
Yeah, hats off to the mom. As I said before, I like the mom. I like the dynamic. I like that she's very sex positive and is very, be safe, do these things. Doesn't bat an eye at that. And I don't want to say this. I think people might think that's somewhat robotic when you might talk about certain things, but it all comes from such a knowledgeable place and a loving place that I'm like, that's, I think, how a lot of these talks should probably be with their kids. Like, not like, oh, we're going to have a talk. Or everyone's like weird about it, because then everyone becomes effing weird about it. And then that's dumb as hell. And this mom just being like, here are factual things. I'm going to tell you that. I love you. The end. I don't want to talk more about it.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, that's cool. And then, the dad tries at the end, like, if you ever want to talk about this, yeah, she's like, I don't want to talk to you. And that's the one thing we forgot, that the friends do make up at the end, that they do watch Beaches, they sing the song, and everyone's cool. That before they go to school, that's the big resolve, that after Aubrey Plaza says later to Cameron and to Rusty, the friends make up. But yeah, I totally get it, Nemo. I'd have to think about that, especially, 10 years ago, this movie came out, like, what were people thinking? I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you guys like it?
Mike, how'd you like it?
I do like this movie. I know in the beginning I alluded to maybe me not enjoying it. I did. I just, with how many awesome people are in this movie, I feel like it should have been funnier.
Yeah,
I agree.
I guess
that's
my
what I
only
meant when I
complaint.
said blockbuster earlier. It's not like the big explosions and stuff. Just like big actors, a lot of them.
Like, I was disappointed in the movie only because I felt like it wasn't, punching in its weight class. Like, it felt like it was weaker than the sum of its parts, but it was still a fun movie. Nemo, you mentioned slut shaming. I think that's a good point. Like, I think the only time Aubrey is called a slut is by her female friends when they're pissed at her. Like, at no point, correct me if I'm wrong, do any of the males in this movie, like, allude that she is being horrible?
No, they do not.
Yeah. No.
And clearly when the friend says that, it's really to cut.
It's
to
like
cut
it's
hard.
meant to be an insult.
Yeah, and only because she was so supportive of all this. And that's like, and to really highlight, like, your friend said that, like, oof, like, there's a problem.
Yeah, so it just kind of presented the whole thing in a pretty sex positive way, which I thought was good, because they could have obviously gone different directions, but clearly, female director, semi autobiographical, that wasn't the intent. I just thought it was handled pretty well. But yeah, it's a fun movie. I would watch it again. I've seen it before, but I didn't remember it apparently. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many good people in it.
The one major controversy, and I definitely wanted to read this from two different sources, was there is a masturbation scene. Aubrey Plaza is wearing clothes while this happens, but apparently, there's a camera strapped to the ceiling, and she walked in, and as Aubrey Plaza said, like, the crew's smoking in the corner. It's all really weird, and it's like, oh, do this. And she starts, touching herself underneath clothes, and did not know the camera was rolling at the time, and then I guess the director used what Aubrey Plaza did not know was being filmed. But Aubrey Plaza said that she did like the final cut, so the director showed her, from my understanding. And I wanted to read that because there was a couple notes about this, but Aubrey Plaza did say she was happy with how the cut was taken. So,
well, like, I guess to clarify, like, yes, all those things did happen, but she was pretending to touch herself, like, in a comedic way. It wasn't like they captured a tender personal moment that they used on film. It was her clearly like,
yes,
how can I masturbate in a funny way? And it was kind of caught unscripted.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could be a comedic, or it could be very, very sexual, depending on I don't know how you perceive it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to go with this. I overall like this movie. I thought it was fun. And it kind of, it was just an easy breezy summer film to watch. I think my holdups, and I think Mike is kind of alluding to this, and I think Mike and I have seen so many films over the years, and so have Lamar and I, that I love everything to do with high school films. I love everything to do with college films. I think they're great. And they're always like this just fun, almost throwaway film that I never really take them seriously. Anytime it's a sexual situation, I don't care. I don't really find it funny. It's usually more crass than anything. So I think the problem that maybe Mike has with this, and this is my holdup, is all those sexual scenes, like, which each job list check off, those are the least funny scenes for me, and everything else is a lot more funny. Like, the discussions about sex, that's why I love Rachel Bilson's character. Like, her frankness, her, like, vulgarity is, like, super funny in all of it. But when the scenes actually happen, like, that's not usually that all too funny for me. I'm just like, whatever. Like, I don't know, you're supposed to be in high school, now it's kind of just gross to watch. I know.
Well, she was a high school graduate.
No. Yeah.
I'm not trying to defend anything, but I don't know. I agree but disagree. Like, I thought the Donald Glover sex scene was pretty funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Like, I got a couple chuckles out of the butter hand job, just mostly because it was disgusting.
I don't disagree, but like overall, like Venom's like now there's a bunch of them,
Right.
so I feel like when
The Squirt thing was funny.
yeah, like when you do them, you got to like do them with a little bit of tact, and when you have a list of them, now you're just like, oof, now you got a lot.
Yeah, I don't know, just like the way she, as an actress, handled or like approached like unknown sexual territory in a very like sterile, analytic way, I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, that does. I have to admit that does make it more even for me. That's why I do like this movie. I'm just kind of nitpicking, to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
fair.
I really do like this film, but usually those scenes, like that's not when I'm laughing out loud. Like other
Right,
scenes are just more like just things said. Bill Hader has a lot of great lines. And
Bill
like
Hader
chuckles.
saves this movie for sure.
Yeah, Lamar, what'd you think?
I like this movie for all the reasons that you guys did, just the little jokes and stuff. I laughed at the moments that, like I said earlier, I had maybe a couple belly chuckles, and they all came at the scenes where she's checking off the list. I feel like this movie, like, there's a lot of coming of age boy movies, like Super Bad and American Pie, but there's really not a lot of them for girls, and I think this was like one of them, and it didn't quite, they didn't handle it the same way that the guys movies did, and I kind of like that. And with Mike, what you said earlier, she was handling her list chores kind of in a robotic fashion. I like the ways that she was doing that.
I told you, Lisa Simpson. It was like the Lisa Simpson
literally
sex
was
story.
just that. As far as comedies in this movie is concerned, it hits. It's the right type of comedy if you're. It's the right type of comedy if you're into that type of comedy.
Yeah,
That's the best way I could say that. If you're not down for just this random teenage messing around, just having sex, not taking itself seriously, just having a fun time. It's a fun movie.
yeah.
It's not anything serious, obviously, and I wouldn't put it on the level of American Pie or Superbad or any of those movies, but it's fun.
I would say the views on sex are way better in this film than American Pie and stuff. And
Oh,
I'm-
absolutely.
Just this is a very
Definitely.
sex positive movie. There's a lot of discussion about having safe sex. Being emotionally like aware of the other person is acknowledged like all throughout. People's views on like consent are always there. So yeah, I mean, if anyone's like, oh my God, like how could anyone do this in a film? Like, please note, like teenagers are clearly having sex every which way, and to handle it like this, to be very, again, open about it, to be in a comedy, to be like reckless sex is fun. Like no one makes that note at all in this. So I like it for all those reasons.
And there's that lesson that's taught in the end as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sex with the right person, well, you have to see the movie to get the spoiler, but sex with the right person is much better than just random sex.
And the spoiler is, if you don't, a voodoo curse will be cast upon you and
Yeah.
forever shall you turn into goo bones. Well, if you want to reach out to us at any point in time, as noted, rabbittroopsucks.com, please visit us and you can listen there. And there's links to everything about us and other episodes and the most current episodes. Hit us up on Instagram or Facebook. Instagram, I think, is my favorite social to use. And email rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com if you have any suggestions. And remember that shot glass if you want one. That'd be cool. I'll send it out. Yeah, our next movie is... what is our next movie? Oh, yeah, our next movie is Without a Paddle from 2004. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah. Have you seen this, Nemo?
I have not
Okay.
seen it. I've
Well-
heard a lot about it.
Well, we're going to discuss it. That's why we're a podcast about obscure films. You're highlighting the ethos and background of our entire, podcast. It's these movies that you've heard of but have not watched. We will tell you what Mike thinks about them. And it sometimes involves tequila. Like, Mike might extra like it. Mike could be persuaded a degree with enough tequila.
Yeah.
And tequila sponsorship. Remember that, Dwayne Johnson.
It doesn't take much to persuade me to watch Without a Paddle.
That's right.
I like this movie. Are you aware of like the legend that
Oh,
they're
yeah.
chasing? Yeah. I like the whole movie.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a lot
Yeah.
of fun. So, yeah, join us for that. Nemo, are you feeling any better now that we've discussed this film?
Well, I still feel like death, but I'm glad I got a chance to actually do this with y'all. So that's
confirmed.
good.
This podcast heals all wounds.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I hope you feel better, Nemo.
I also hope.
Appreciate it.
We take donations for the healing. So,
For the healing.
so just easily send that to us.
Yeah, it's like tithing.
Things
Oh
are
my
getting
God.
weird.
Yeah.
We expect 10% of your salaries.
As always, Rabbit Troop sucks.
Remember, true sucks.